Powered by WCTV.tv. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
The future of school safety in Florida now in the hands of the Senate. Lawmakers discussing several changes to that bill. Thank you for joining us at 5 today. I'm Julie Montanaro.
And I'm Abby Walton. To talk more about the bill, CBS's Nikki Batiste joins us now. And Nikki, several details getting ironed out with that bill. What parts of the bill are still in place as we speak?
A lot of the key points that were decided over the weekend are still in place. Raising the age to buy a firearm from 18 to 21, banning bump stocks, putting millions of dollars into school safety plan and mental health programs, and then of course the Marshall Plan, which was a lot of this discussion going on when I walked out about 30 minutes ago, was about that plan that would arm teachers and school staff once they had 130 hours of training. Discussions about who exactly should it include substitute teachers. Not much has really changed at this point. Two things did change that were nice actually. They wanted to rename the Marshall Plan after the football coach at Stoneman Douglas who lost his life jumping in front of some of his students. So that plan will be renamed after him. When I walked out, they were discussing whether or not to rename the act, take Stoneman Douglas out of it, because they said some of the elements that some of the students and parents at Stoneman Douglas wanted aren't actually in the bill, but that hadn't been determined yet when I left. But most of the discussion today is about whether or not to arm teachers, which is still in place.
And Nikki, we've seen the students from Stoneman Douglas High School here in town and many people from Parkland at the Capitol protesting. What kind of feedback are they offering about the bill as it stands now?
After the special session this weekend, when the ban against assault rifles was rejected, there was a lot of response from the students on Twitter, disappointed that that was rejected. Also disappointed that the decision to arm teachers was included, something else they generally didn't want. Today, in front of the Stoneman Douglas High School, there was a press conference with some of the parents of some of the victims who generally say they support this bill. It's not ideal. They're supportive, but they are on board, but they will continue to try to make changes in the future for Florida gun laws.
And finally, Nikki, what can we expect next?
So we're expecting a vote, hopefully in the next hour. If the Senate votes to pass the bill today, it will then go to the House. If they don't pass the bill, it's over. If it goes to the House and it passes, it then goes to Governor Rick Scott to sign. If it doesn't pass in the House, it goes back to the Senate. So there are a lot of things that could play out yet. This is a really divided group of lawmakers, and they have until Friday to compromise.
All right, Nikki Batiste, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, and we'll continue to keep folks updated on any votes and any changes.
And Nikki's going to be here for the CBS Evening News as well as for the morning show, so we'll see more reports from her. Thank you very much, Nikki.
We have an update now to Friday's standoff in Brooks County. An official autopsy is expected tomorrow for 31-year-old Timothy Smothers. According to the GBI, he died at South Georgia Medical Center. Now, the GBI is not commenting on who actually fired weapons that day. Nobody else was injured in the standoff.
New developments tonight in the puzzling disappearance of a high school teacher and former beauty queen. A court officially throwing out a gag order. Our Charlene Cristobal brings us an update.
That gag order was issued in March of last year and was just lifted this morning. Tara Grinstead went missing in October of 2005. That's more than 12 years ago. She reportedly did not show up for work at an Irwin County high school. That's when the search for her began. The case went cold for more than a decade. That is until last year, when new information led to the arrest of Ryan Alexander Duke. The judge issued an order prohibiting the attorneys, their staff, and all law enforcement from talking to the media about the case. A Georgia Supreme Court opinion says this morning that the circumstances do not warrant such a restraint. Now, Ryan Duke, Grinstead's former student, pled not guilty to murder back in May. In June, Bo Dukes was charged with concealing Grinstead's death and tampering with evidence. Police believe he helped move her body. Back to you.
All right, Charlene, thank you. There is an investigation underway in Suwannee County right now. Authorities there are trying to figure out who placed this razor blade beneath the handle of a shopping cart. Deputies say that cart was at the Walmart in Live Oak. Our Lenitra Bennett has the details.
Some websites list having a razor blade in the handle of a shopping cart as urban legend, but we've learned that it's no myth. Authorities say it's happened in real life right here in Suwannee County. The Suwannee County Sheriff says this is the razor blade that was found at Walmart Saturday. He says an employee gathering shopping carts felt the blade underneath the handle of a cart. No one was hurt, but officials warn shoppers to check carefully when grabbing a shopping cart. The sheriff saying the problem could mean more than a cut on the hand.
Another concern that I would have would be, is there something on the blade? Is there some type of, they put some type of drugs on the blade? Is there some kind of poison on there? Even though you may get a small cut from it, is there something that may get in your system that you're going to have, medical problems, health problems down the road because of this too?
Walmart released a statement. In part, it says it's disturbing that someone might try to injure a customer or associate. The store says it's checked all shopping carts and will work with law enforcement to find out who's responsible. The discovery shaking up many shoppers here. We'll hear from several of them coming up at 6 o'clock and how they say this could impact the way they go shopping. For now, back to you in the studio.
And anyone with information is asked to call the Suwannee County Sheriff's Office.
Capital Regional Medical Center welcoming a new team member this week, a former employee now making his way back to Tallahassee as the new CEO.
Our Erica Fernandez met with him and talked about some of his plans moving forward for the hospital.
Alan Cassie is no stranger to Tallahassee. He actually worked here at Capital Regional Medical Center for 2 years before leaving to Las Vegas in 2015. He says he's excited to be back and he wants CRMC to be known for their quality of work and their high patient satisfaction. Cassie is looking forward to building relationships with staff and the community. He says he's already trying to build up the medical staff here and he's looking forward to developing 2 freestanding emergency departments, adding greater access for community as well. Cassie worked at Sunrise Hospital in Las Vegas when the mass shooting took place last October. His hospital treating 214 patients in just 2 hours. He says that experience forever changed that hospital and that town.
We had 200 nurses, 300 physicians just come in and pour out all of their care and their compassion to the patients and the victims, as well as to the family members. And I think that individual patient and family focus is the key to providing great care.
Cassie plans to speak nationally this year on how to triage patients in mass casualty situations. We did ask the new CEO about that deadly stabbing that happened just a couple weeks ago here at CRMC. He declined to comment, but he did say they are reviewing all plans, staff, and safety and security measures to make sure that never happens again. Reporting in Tallahassee, Erica Fernandez, WCTV Eyewitness News.
All right, Erica, thank you.
Well, take a look at this, a beautiful day over Tallahassee, and the weather that we had over the weekend, absolutely perfect. And Mike, I am hoping that it extends into the work week. It was beautiful this
yeah,
weekend.
And a little crisp. Do you want to use that word?
It was crisp, I agree.
It's time to, I had to break down and turn the heater on for about at least a few minutes because it actually got cold inside the house. But then the afternoons have been glorious. But this week, we're going to have some rather quick changes once again, and none of that really warm weather coming back. And look at the morning temperatures. Look at the 30s, especially over the eastern half of the area. Valdosta down to 36, Gainesville all the way down to 34. But then just to our west, 56 this morning, Pensacola. So you can tell there's some kind of a system coming our way. Already starting to see those rather large changes. Current temperatures, delightful. In the 70s with lots of sunshine, some spots in the upper 60s. But when you look at the cloud cover, you'll see that we've only had a little bit, but the clouds are going to start increasing. And you'll look at what happens on the futurecast as we get into tomorrow morning. All of a sudden, we're talking about some showers, maybe even a couple thunderstorms coming our way tomorrow. And after that, it's time for another chill, maybe a little bit colder than what we just had.
Wow.
And there's another one even after that. So March, bringing back the cool. We'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes.
All right, maybe we have to wait to plant all those pretty flowers out front.
Exactly, just for maybe a little bit longer. Yeah. All right, thanks, Mike.
Well, next on Eyewitness News at 5, harmful alternative?
New research now saying teens using e-cigarettes may be doing just as much harm to themselves as smoking regular cigarettes.